Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified Doctor of Naturopathy, Dr. Stephen Cabral, shares with you exactly how you can reverse aging, take back your health, and live a life full of energy and passion, with new 20-minute episodes every single day to keep you healthy and engaged. Now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
All right, everybody, we are back with a brand new Cabral Concept. Today, we're going to be talking about the connection of stealth pathogens to the body and weakened immunity and feeling the brain fog and the fatigue and the exhaustion over time. So here's the thing: mold, Lyme, Candida, SIBO, parasites, viruses, and maybe we'll even put in heavy metals in there as well. All of these have a connection. And it's why their symptoms mimic each other so much. So when you think about it, just take Lyme disease, take Epstein-Barr virus, take even SIBO. I know SIBO is going to be more closely connected to bloating, no doubt about it, but heavy metals, add them all in there. What are we really talking about? When a practitioner is listening during a consultation, or they're reading an at-home lab and they're looking at the form filled out with all the symptoms, and they're saying, okay, this person has some skin rashes, they have some headaches, they have some light sensitivity. What else do they have? They have some brain fog, they have fatigue, they have weak digestion. Oh, okay, yeah, this sounds like it could be, and it could literally be any of the ones that I just named. Any stealth-based pathogen. Now, here's the interesting thing. Conventional medicine doesn't look at those at all. They will give you a diagnosis of whatever your symptom is. Okay, they'll give you a diagnosis of your skin rash, send you to a dermatologist. If you have a headache, they're going to go through all the different reasons why you might have a headache. Of course, they're going to give you Advil, aspirin, et cetera, et cetera. They might go for, you might go for a CT scan, if you have enough of them. I know I did when I was sick. They couldn't figure out why I had headaches. Like, oh, let's just do a CT scan and radiate this child to figure out what's wrong with him. Then eventually you might go to an allergist, et cetera. Okay. I could go on and on. Conventional medicine does not look for the root cause, but all of those symptoms I just named, brain fog, fatigue, skin issues, headaches, etc., all of an underlying root cause. And you could say, oh, well, it's high histamines. And I've done a bunch of shows on high histamines. And I would say, yeah, absolutely. High histamines could be an issue. Skin, headaches, brain fog, etc. Okay. But high histamines is not the underlying root cause. It is a root cause, but not at the deepest layer. So you have to ask yourself what's causing the high histamines. And certainly it could be digestive-based issues like Candida overgrowth, SIBO, H. pylori, etc. So I'm not gonna, that's not the topic of today's show, and I don't want to discredit any of those previous shows. I've talked about that, and I think that there's obviously a lot that you need to work through. I truly believe that most people simply need to run some at-home lab testing. They really do. It's the only way to pinpoint your underlying root causes. But after you do that at-home lab testing, let's say you do find the Candida overgrowth, right? Yeast overgrowth. And let's say you do find mold, and maybe from your past that you have Epstein-Barr virus or you had Lyme. Okay, here's the problem though. Every single one of those cause inflammation in the body. How do they do that? Well, what happens is something foreign enters your body or grows out of range that it should be. So for example, we all have Candida, yeast in our body, but it's not supposed to overgrow. But let's say you took antibiotics and the antibiotics killed the good bacteria, a lot of the good bacteria in your gut, of course, not all of it, but it left open the space, right? It's like a garden. All right. You pull out your garden, you pull out all your great veggies and all that, the weeds are going to start to grow faster, right? And that's basically the same thing. Antibiotics, yeah, sure, they're going to kill some of the bad bacteria, but they're going to kill the good too. It leaves space, Candida begins to overgrow, the immune system becomes now active trying to suppress that Candida. Let's say you get Lyme. Okay, now you have a bacteria in your body, and you're actively now, your immune cells are trying to destroy the bacteria. And it's the same for any virus, Epstein-Barr virus, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, same with mold, right? So your immune systems are on higher alert. That creates what? More inflammation. Because the immune cells, they're not messing up. They're going after the foreign pathogen in your body, right? That's an invader that invaded your body. It shouldn't be there. The body's trying to eliminate it. It's trying to kill it, literally break it down. It's trying to unravel that virus, that DNA-based essentially, that's what a virus is essentially DNA fragments, and it's trying to unravel those, destroy it, and then remove it from the body. But here's the thing. Once that goes on for about more than 4 weeks, 6 weeks essentially maximum, it will continue on, of course, if it's not taken care of. It's considered chronic. And the body looks at it as a chronic condition as well. That does two things. One, it's elevated the immune system now for a number of weeks, okay? That begins to exhaust the body. You have a lot of inflammation. There's a lot of oxidative stress. That oxidative stress then looks like what? Well, it looks like the skin rashes, the headaches, the higher histamines, the brain fog, the fatigue, because your body literally is at war inside of it, and it never stops. It's all day long, right? It's literally all day long. And if you're eating foods that you're sensitive to, it's every time you eat, there's a greater onslaught. What does this lead to? More of what's called TH2 immune dominance. So just a quick refresher, I wrote about it in my book, The Rain Barrel Effect, and would love for you to get a free copy at stephencabral.com. But here's the thing. TH1 is essentially a first line of defense against all of these viruses and pathogens that enter our body, where TH2 is more of the chronic conditions, the allergies, the environmental sensitivities, the food sensitivities, the multiple chemical sensitivities, the EMFs that I spoke about last week on the show. So what happens is over time, we start to get this, for some people, not everybody, this greater shift towards TH2 immune dominance, which literally means greater inflammation systemically over time. Why am I saying all of this? Well, what happens is that greater inflammation over time wears down and destroys your mitochondria. And this is what no one's talking about, right? There's this autophagy, or there is this, I shouldn't say autophagy, there's this mitophagy of the mitochondria that begin to break down. Now, mitochondria normally do break down, but then they build new ones, and they actually build stronger ones, and that's the goal, right? But not in chronic states of inflammation. So chronic states of inflammation, I've spoke about this with long COVID and other things as well. What we need to do is boost the immune system, simultaneously decrease inflammation while also building up the mitochondria. Now, why does this matter? It's because mitochondria help to decrease inflammation. They produce energy for the body. They produce energy for the immune system as well, certain parts. Okay, so we produce something called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Great. So all of our cells contain this mitochondria, some more than others. Our heart cells contain more like 5,000 mitochondria per cell, where others contain 1,000 to 2,000. So these are literally the powerhouses of every cell, and they're going to help the body overall with energy. Well, in the presence of inflammation, chronic inflammation, it begins to wear down and destroy the mitochondria. So now you have less per cell. If you have less mitochondria per cell, you feel what? Well, you feel tired. You feel worn out. You start to feel anxious. You start to feel irritable and overwhelmed because you know you can't keep up with everything that's asked of you, right? In both mind and body. But there's another thing. Then the inflammation begins to increase. And so you start to also maybe eat less healthy foods because you're looking for more sugary foods to kind of boost your energy. You stay away from exercise because you know you're already exhausted, and more exercise would further exhaust you. And I'll be talking about that more on Thursday's show this week as well. So now the inflammation weaken the mitochondria. The mitochondria can no longer help to squelch the inflammation to the same degree. And it's this vicious cycle that people continue now to get worse. Well, what we call that is myalgic encephalomyelitis. And I know it's a big word, but it's literally the same thing as what people are calling long COVID. It's the same thing as what people are referring to when they have Lyme for, 6 months to a year, or suffering from mold, or suffering from any of these gut issues. Over time, it's no longer typically just the mold, or just the even parasites, or heavy metals, or the virus. It's actually what happens deeper inside of the body. And one of the big things that's absolutely overlooked in conventional medicine is when someone gets a tick bite or they have Lyme, they often get put on 2 months of doxycycline, a very powerful antibiotic. Well, they're never told that that antibiotic can also destroy the mitochondria as well. So even though they might be getting rid of the bacteria, what happens? Well, what happens is now they're left with a lifetime of fatigue, exhaustion that they believe is still the Lyme. But usually it's not. what happens is they're left with now the fallout from the massive amount of inflammation from the maybe Lyme itself and the immune system, but also the antibiotics, which have been proven to destroy that. Well, that last virus we had, right? That lasted for quite a number of years. People are often given high-dose antibiotics. The same thing can happen. But not only that, you don't have to just take the antibiotics. It can happen from any inflammatory event, and sometimes that's a viral-based event as well. The nice thing is that all of this can be overcome. The goal has to be to first remove literally that thorn in the elephant's foot, right? Like that's what we need to do first. So what is your thorn? I know you're not an elephant, but you know what I mean. And so what are we looking at? Well, we need to figure it out. For me, back in my day, when I was really sick, I had candida overgrowth, I had bacterial overgrowth, I had H. pylori, I had high levels of mercury. Those weren't the only things, but I had to fix those. I had to improve my sleep. I had to improve my stress. Those were major factors. Okay. So I had to go about those. And then my body got now back to a baseline. My immune system calmed down because it got rid of the major root causes. Then after that, with the sleep, with the lifestyle, the good food, gently increasing the exercise, all these things, I started to level out inflammation to boost the mitochondria. Now, there are great nutritional supplements. There are great foods that you can use. I've talked about those in previous shows, but that is the start. So for most people, again, at-home lab testing, functional medicine at-home lab testing, of course, you can do that with us over at Equalife, but you can also do that with an integrative health practitioner level 2 or your local naturopathic doctor, whatever works for you. You know, we want you to make sure that you can get the help that you need. And then also check out how then to rebuild the mitochondria. I will start to link up more shows for your continuing education at stevencabral.com/2797. That's today's show notes. It'll be the 3 big takeaways. Other shows that you can learn more about this topic and maybe even myalgic encephalomyelitis, as well as the labs that we can help you with as well. So again, stevencabral.com/2797. But hopefully that started to give you a better understanding of why you might have the chronic or the continued low mood, low libido, low energy, low endurance, and low cognitive ability. Over time, the inflammation begins to zap those mitochondria, and you can't just boost the mitochondria without also lowering the inflammation. So that is the key to success. Hopefully this show was helpful. Thanks so much for tuning in the show. Of course, share the show with anyone you believe it could serve. And tomorrow, come on back because we're going to be going over new research, specific new research that was done on a study that shows the 5 main reasons why some people just can't lose the weight. All right, take care, everybody. Have an amazing day. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.